Hello and welcome to Cognitions, Speaking the Unspeakable with JP and
Stacy D and
Miss V.
Yes, Miss V is in the house. We got Miss V up in here because we got a lot to talk about. We have a lot to cover.
Okay,
today.
come on, let's do it.
All right, so we're going to get to it. We are broadcasting here on KUAW Radio, which stands for Knowledge, Understanding,
And wisdom.
and Wisdom. You can also catch us on FM 100.5, KOJH, Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, and TuneIn. Coming up on the show today,
And hold on, be sure to like us, follow, and share.
like and share. Please like and share and follow and all of that good stuff because we're trying to spread word to as many people as possible.
Trying to get it out there.
All right, coming up on our question of the day today, we have: how much do women make in salary compared to men, even in female-dominated professions such as nursing, social work? So we're going to talk about that because I was in a continuing education training, and this information was quite shocking. I was unaware. I knew there was a difference. I just was not aware of how big the difference is.
Wow.
And they broke it down to the different minority groups to see which minority groups are making less and less and less by comparison to white males in America. So we're going to take a look at that. That's coming up on our question of the day. But before we get to that, let's do our check-in. We got double check-ins.
Since we have the guests, Miss V, I'm going to let you go first because usually I go first. But I'm going to let you go first. What's your check-in?
Okay, see, I need to learn, so I'm going to let y'all do a check-in, and then I'll follow up.
Okay, my check-in is we're not doing no more Stacy's Chronicles of Dating because I'm hurting people's feelings, and I do apologize. But I just believe that transparency is very important in the beginning of a relationship.
This is called speaking the unspeakable.
I know. But
So if feelings are hurt, that means that they're not supposed to watch the show, as opposed to you.
well, they don't know they stalking me. That's what I'm thinking. Don't you think that's stalking? I didn't invite you to watch the show, so why are you watching the show? Because you don't went up on my Facebook page.
It's public radio. It's public radio.
But it's my public radio.
This isn't a private show.
It's my box. Like they thought me and Joe and I were married.
What did you say that upset him?
Girl, anything.
Okay,
Number one, I'm
Miss V,
dating more than one
did you
person.
see the show last
No,
week?
she didn't.
No, I didn't.
She talked about this new guy. Apparently, his feelings got hurt.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
I don't recall anything that you said that was not real.
You know,
So
Stacy did keep it real.
okay, and so then the question is a person asking you not to be real?
He just wants to be exclusive, and I think you got to do a while before you be exclusive. Don't you think so, Miss V?
Yes.
I'm like, we at least got to be
You
3
just
to
met
6
him.
months in.
So that's why he hurt, because he hurt.
There's no exclusive. You just met him.
Exactly. He said by not being exclusive, I'm not giving him enough time to show himself. And my thing about is, my work is really a defense mechanism.
That's
But
not
if you
even what we
Huh?
talked about. What you talked about last week was he used his money to pull you.
Yes.
And he was bragging about his vehicles.
Still is.
And the comment that I had, the mental
He have
health
7
perspective
He have
on
7 vehicles.
Right. And so the mental health perspective on it was do the opposite. Don't use your money to pull a woman. You should be hiding your money so that you know if the woman wants you for you. So what is it about that? Because everything we discussed would benefit any listener to the show.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'm
what
not
it was
really.
that another guy who I was dating, he was listening.
Also.
My daughter told me I need to be dating 5 people by the end of the year.
We ain't got enough time for that. You first thing, let me tell you, you can't date 5 people and lose your 5 to 10 pounds because we are in the middle of the holiday weight loss challenge. Can we get an update on that, D?
I gained 2 pounds.
Okay. First, let me confess. Okay, for those of you who missed the show
I'm not
last
saying
week,
how much I weigh.
I was in a state of a state of crisis.
He
Miss
hit the
B,
tubes.
because I was heavier than I've ever been in my whole life. So I came up in here 201 pounds from eating tons of cakes, pies, cookies, and everything. So the D and I, we discussed that we need to lose 5 to 10 pounds. Mr. Walker needs to lose 4 pounds. It doesn't look like he lost them yet. And the
You need to lose
professor,
10.
you need to lose 10.
The
And the
professor
professor
don't need-
refused to participate.
Because he's all muscle.
According to the professor, he done pulled a muscle. He's all muscle, but he ain't
He's
been
all
to the
muscle.
gym. So we couldn't figure out how he was pulling muscles
Well,
and
they
he all
call
muscle.
him at the gym, Mr. Buff.
But he ain't been to the gym. Remember, he also said that. And so the professor kept dodging, and we said, forget it, professor. If you don't want to do it, you ain't got to do it. Just say you don't want to do it. Okay, so first, let me confess. In the past couple of days, I have eaten cookies and brownies. I was forced to because I had to make them for this party. Sweet potato pie.
I can't make a sweet potato pie to save my life.
I didn't make
only
it. I didn't
5
make it.
ingredients.
A hummingbird cake.
What's
Ate
a
some
hummingbird cake?
I thought he said he was forced to eat it because he made it.
Yeah, it was because he had to taste it and make sure
Miss
it's
B,
right.
well, can you
See, I
make
already
something
know I
without
ain't.
eating it? The only thing you
what's
can
a
make without
hummingbird
eating is a cake. I didn't make the cake. You
And you
can't
didn't
make
make the pie
cookies
either.
without eating the cookies.
But you
Can
didn't.
you?
What's a
And
hummingbird
brownies.
cake?
I'm sorry.
Can
go
we
ahead,
look
go
up
ahead.
what's a hummingbird cake, please?
I've made a hummingbird cake before, but this one was
Oh, he made it up.
this one
No,
was
it-
store bought. I didn't.
It's,
No,
it's
I
a
didn't
real
make
thing.
this
It's
one.
a real thing.
I didn't make
I'll
this
look it
one.
up.
Okay,
Hummingbird
thank
cake, which the other term for hummingbird cake is wedding cake. It is a cake that
Oh.
has nuts in it. It has coconut. It has like all of those things. And I don't know where my sister bought it. It wasn't full-fledged hummingbird cake because full-fledged hummingbird cake also has crushed pineapple in it.
Oh.
That's where the moisture comes from, right?
I calls that a Hawaiian
And it
cake.
also has banana in
Ooh.
it. And no, this is a little different from Hawaiian.
Yeah, my Hawaiian is just coconut and pineapple.
Yeah, this is it's wonderful. Anyway,
I'm allergic. I can't eat it.
I ate all that, but despite eating all that, I've dropped 6 pounds.
Ooh,
I only have
that's
4 to
more
go.
of a description.
If I would not have eaten all of that in the past couple of days, I would probably be down further. So
Oh,
for the
it
weight
came
loss
from
challenge,
Jamaica. No wonder it has all that in it.
what?
It's originated from Jamaica.
Oh, okay. I got it out of Patty's cookbook when I made it.
Patty LaBelle.
Yes, of course. The great Patty LaBelle. It's
Well,
in one of them cookbooks. What,
for,
Professor?
for the record, last week at Wednesday I was 87.8. Today I was 185.6.
Oh.
So I
Okay,
lost-
well, everybody
Mr.
lost weight
Walker
but me.
is handling business.
I'm not telling nobody my weight, but I'm the only one that didn't lose any weight. I gained 2 pounds.
We have until December 31st. You can still pull this off.
I know I
okay?
can still lose, so now I got to lose 7 pounds.
And we said 5 to 10.
I know, but now I got to lose 7 because I gained 2 pounds.
Well, yeah. You can do it. You can do it.
Okay.
Now, you know I have multiple ways of losing weight.
Did you do a Tootsie
B,
Roll
I'm
diet?
going to write them down. 'cause I
One
need 'em.
is the Tootsie Roll diet.
Tootsie Roll
Don't
diet.
write
It
that one
worked.
down because it's not good.
It's a lot of-
It worked.
But
It worked.
But
But
it
maybe
worked.
it was because you were younger.
I'm gonna
Tootsie
write it.
Roll.
I'm
The
gonna
Tootsie
Roll.
Roll. The
Tootsie
Tootsie
Roll.
Roll
We do
diet
that Tootsie
is Tootsie
Roll.
Rolls and bananas.
Oh, because of potassium.
Snacking on them throughout the day. All right. Now,
Tootsie Rolls
I've
and
been
bananas.
eating Tootsie Rolls, though, but I wasn't doing my Tootsie Roll diet. The other diet that I did on the show is the Chinese food diet. And I didn't do that one, but I might kick that in. I might have to kick that in next week to get to this 10 pounds.
Tell me about that.
All that is just eating Chinese food with chicken, though, not beef, with either chicken or shrimp, no pork, no beef, and sometimes just the vegetables. Okay, because
So no rice?
I love vegetables
No rice.
and the rice.
You can eat.
What about the noodles?
Those they are thin people. When we covered
They
it
look a
on the
little
show,
fat to me.
what I ain't seen no fat Chinese.
I see a whole lot of them. They doing my
You ain't
toes
never seen
and my
outside of a
nails.
sumo restaurant.
I've been to super
You
restaurant.
saw an overweight Chinese person D.
Yeah.
We talked about this on the show before.
I know. Okay,
Those
come
are
on,
not
come on,
real
'cause we got a whole
Chinese
lot of
people.
other stuff to do.
Okay.
They fake Chinese people.
I don't know what they
Well,
are, but
they-
they not
or they
Chinese.
orient-
They
they-
not eating
they
Chinese
oriented.
food. All right. So the Chinese diet, it seriously does work. Just eating, it really was just eating vegetables. Eating
Okay.
stir-fried vegetables with some chicken. I don't eat a lot of rice, but the rice is filling.
Okay, crab ragout.
Actually, yes.
Are you sure?
And the
'Cause
crab
I'm like,
ragout.
I can eat all this.
Oh, and the crab ragout.
And get
no
an egg
rolls,
roll.
though. Don't
How
put egg
come you
rolls.
can't do the
Okay,
egg roll?
okay.
You do crab
Oh
ragout.
my goodness.
For some reason, the egg rolls seem greasier. The crab ragout, I just eat the part that has the cream. I don't eat the whole
Like most people.
rest of the because that's just a bunch of big crunch.
Okay.
I don't need all that. We did that on the show. It worked.
I remember. Yeah,
The
it
Chinese
worked for
diet.
you.
Okay, so I have 4 pounds to go. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. I'm throwing my Chinese diet, I'm gonna do some things. All right, so here is my next thought. I have another quick check-in. I think we should do our speed dating thing. We talked about it before, and we never did it. And I just think that we really need to do that. We had discussed doing a speed dating event and having a whole bunch of single folks come out and kind of almost hand picking the people. Well, that's what I was going to do. The D was just gonna stand out on the street and say, "Hey, we have it.
Come
have a
on
speed
in.
dating.
Come on in.
Come on in. Homeless people up in there." But
And we serving morsels.
Yes.
So
but I was wanting to kind of hand pick the people based upon just people who are mentally stable, employed, gainfully
That's good.
employed. Ain't nobody trying to meet a fool. And so
and like the other sex and only the other sex. Do not want to do. Remember what was it?
polyamorous.
Polyamorous.
Yeah, we did a show on polyamory. I don't think we should do speed dating for people. Actually, speed dating would be perfect for polyamorous people. If you want to
not
date
doing
2,
that.
3 people at a time, speed dating is where you need to meet the people. But that's not what we're focusing on, because I kind of was wanting us to have people who only want to date one other person, and they don't need to be at an event with polyamorous people, because you end up liking somebody and you find out that they're going to date 3 other people that they met at the event. That's not going to work. So we can do a separate event for them if you want to, D.
I'm not doing all that. No.
So we talk about just regular single people.
Regular single people.
Okay, so I
Okay.
think we should do that. And really quick, I just want to say, because, today is December. Well, yesterday was December the 4th. And I didn't get a chance to post anything on Facebook, but that was Founders Day for my fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. So to my brothers, I'm sorry I didn't post anything. I didn't forget about you fools. I didn't forget
Because
about
he's a
y'all.
lifer now.
I sure am. Yes, I am.
Yay.
I don't want to think about that because that was a lot of money. All right, let's get to mental health and illness in the news. This story, I'm going to do a quick story first. Okay, Derek Chauvin, the murderous police officer. This, actually, I was going to cover this last week, but we didn't have enough time. This is the police officer who knelt on George Floyd's neck for exactly 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Well, apparently he got stabbed in prison.
22 times.
Did you hear about that?
I don't listen to news.
How many times did he get stabbed?
22.
22 times.
Is he dead?
Nope.
The fool is still alive.
He's Tupac number 3.
What kind of convict, this is what I want to know. What kind of convict stabbed somebody 22 times and they still alive?
He didn't hit him in the right place. Because the blade is only this long. So they have to be.
They had
When
a,
you
he had-
shank
he had a
it-
shank or something.
Hold on,
Yeah.
why would a shank blade be that tiny? What?
Because
You ain't shanking
they're
with
doing
that.
everything
they're
and
doing
all
it with
that.
like toothbrushes. They have to.
Yes, but a toothbrush is this long.
I know, but by the time they make it to be.
Because they have to hide it as contraband, so they have to hide it and all this other type of
Yes.
stuff.
See, if I was in prison, I had to show them how to make a real shank. Because if you ain't shanking somebody with something that's 1 inch long. 22
have to
times you
hide
stab
it.
somebody, he's still walking
I
around
can't
like
believe
I
he didn't
think
hit
I
in
got
the.
stabbed.
I mean, he couldn't hit an artery. I mean, 22 times.
22 times.
Even if he done it in his stomach 22 times, it would have like.
Life-saving measures were performed before he was rushed to the hospital.
Wow.
He's in Arizona. 22 times he survived. I'm just like, come on, convicts. Come on, inmates. Stop wasting people's time.
And
Not
our
that
money.
I'm encouraging shanking, but I'm just saying, like, if you are trying to, there's no way for me. The views, Mr. Walker, you probably about 5 minutes ago should have said that the views being expressed, because nothing I just said is appropriate.
Right.
Yeah, we're about to get banned.
I know you real close.
Okay, let me say this. I am not encouraging shanking, okay? This is humor. But really, like 22 times, the man is alive. Like, when he gets out of the hospital, he's going to show them how to really kill somebody because he knows how to kill. All right, let's get to the next.
But yeah,
mental
but
health.
a point on that though, you know that it happened on Black Friday. That's why the person did it.
Oh, yeah, he did. He purposely chose Black Friday. I forgot about that part. Yeah.
That's why I was like, oh,
Yeah. This,
Now White Monday.
There was humor in the story. Yeah, there was humor in the story. 22 times. His arm was tired after that. All right, so here's my mental health and illness in the news story. And D, you are a school social worker. So this, I want you to tell me your perspective, the school's perspective. But Colorado parents are challenging the school district's gender identity policy. And this is what happened. A Colorado couple is upset because a male student who identifies as female,
What grade?
these
Elementary, middle school, or high
11
school?
years old, which is sixth,
Fifth.
fifth
Yeah.
grade.
Fifth grade.
Okay. Their policy, they allowed a male student who identifies as a female to share a room with this couple's daughter and other fifth grade females during an overnight school trip without the parents' knowledge or consent. So the parents, Joe and Serena Wells, and their 11-year-old daughter, she not only was sharing a room with her peer, but a room and a bed.
Oh no.
That's bad.
Well, I don't even want same sex up in there. No, because it's too much going on. I'm not doing that.
Oh, there's more. And so the parents' daughter became uncomfortable about the prospect of sharing a bed with a student whose actual gender is male. After the student admitted to her on the first night of the trip that, you know, their gender is male. Now the girl, the baby, went and told her mother, who was on the trip. The mother had accompanied as a chaperone. So I'm like, so the parent was there. Why are the kids in the so you was okay with your child sharing a bed with another girl? My kid
I
ain't
wouldn't
sharing a
do
bed
that.
with nobody.
I'm not doing that.
I would not be okay with my daughter sharing a bed with another little girl, with my son sharing a bed with another little
I
boy.
agree.
There are too many kids who have been
I
sexually
agree.
abused, and they
I
sexually
agree.
act out if they have not received a lot of treatment. That wasn't appropriate anyway. And I'm thinking, if you a parent, why wasn't your kid with you?
Be in the bed with you.
Why
At
you,
the end of the
where
night.
was the parents sleeping?
Now, if they wanted to like have fun while they were in the room, that's fine. But when it was time to go to bed, you should have been in the bed with me.
The school chaperones eventually decided to move the trans-identifying student to another room, but was pressuring the parent to lie about their concerns so that they could hide the identity, because none of the other students knew that this student who identifies as female was actually male.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Apparently the mother had a problem with that. And so their issue is that this put their daughter in a very uncomfortable and challenging situation where she had to choose between sharing a bed with a student who's biologically male or advocating for her own comfort.
She did right. She did right.
You know what?
Mm.
I agree. Here's the reason why. And let me say this, because I know people will be all up in arms.
I don't care.
I am not having an issue. I don't have an issue with people's gender identity. All right? Because this is an issue of gender identity versus biological gender. That's not the point. To me, the point is you cannot have kids sharing beds.
Period.
Period. You should be and the parents' perspective is get our permission.
Right.
You need to have our. But I also have an issue with the parent because it's like, so you was okay with your daughter sharing a bed with another girl though? Why would that be okay?
Do you think that has to do with us, our background? I mean, how would you feel about that, Ms. V?
So years ago, I probably would have been okay, except that I went through my own stuff. And so because I went through my own stuff and getting counseling and all of that, understanding my issues, then I wouldn't.
Talking to the mic, woman.
Oh, I'm
Talking
sorry.
to the mic.
No. So, but like for my grandkids, and I mean, no.
Because
I think
times most definitely have changed.
They are changed.
And I have seen plenty of male victims of sexual abuse who were sexually abused by females. It is a mistake.
Oh, it happens.
It is a mistake for people to think that only males
No.
are committing sex offenses.
No.
So, it's okay for female students to share a room and share a bed. I can see sharing a room, sharing a bed. It's okay for female students to share a bed, but and I don't think the issue, because let's talk about the gender identity aspect of this. The reason why I'm saying that I'm not necessarily having an issue with that, because a student who is biologically male but identifying as female is clearly not trying to have sex with the little girls up in the room. I don't think that it was. I don't think that was
I
an
have a
issue.
thought though.
Yes.
So, and probably I said 5th grade, probably 6th grade. You think about 6th grade, if the young
so
person
difficult.
isn't changed or hormonal changed or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
something go on. If that child is in arousal, puberties, then something
Put that
could,
booty on there.
right, which is a whole
get in trouble
different.
for saying
So
booty?
I
Well,
think,
But
yeah.
if the child is identifying as gay, they're not going to get aroused. That student will not get aroused from that little girl rubbing up against their body. I don't think that psychologically the student is not going to be attracted to the other girls. And what the school most likely was thinking is, well, this student identifies as female and we're the only people who even know that
And
this
she
is
was
biologically
I bet
a
she's
male.
Pretty.
Obviously nobody else knew. And so what they were thinking is,
We didn't have a picture of her?
nobody else knows, but how can we have a student that all the other kids believe is female? How can we place them in a room to sleep with males? And if the student is identifying as being gay, that's where there might be a risk of something sexual happening.
That's two different
because
things. Yeah.
that's who the student is sexually attracted to. So I can understand the school saying, we can't put her in a room with the boys because they're going to be like, why is she in here? And they're protecting the student's confidentiality. What they should have done, and I know this, people are going to struggle with this, but what they should have done is had a private room for that student, or
Everyone had a room.
talk
Had
to
their
the
own
parents
beds.
without identifying exactly who the student was, because obviously she looks
Just
like a girl.
Like a girl.
Talk to the parents and say, would you have an issue with your child sharing a room and a bed for whatever bizarre reason they thought that was okay with a student who is biologically male and identifying as female? There probably would have been at least one parent that would have said, I'm cool with that. Because some of
Or
the students may have same-sex
all the parents could have, just
That is
pulled
a
all
big
their
thing
kids
now.
Yeah,
or-
some of the students, a student who has same-sex parents, those parents will be like, yeah, we cool with that. They should have asked. And
Should have done something.
so
I agree.
I think that this is there's probably also an undercurrent of bigotry in this. I'm not supporting any bigotry that may be a part of this. I'm saying that kids, period, should not
They
be
need their
sharing
own beds.
I agree.
If the cost went up and you couldn't afford to go, then you just couldn't go.
What kind of cheap school cannot afford for all the kids to have their own bed?
A lot of schools.
What? Then stop taking trips.
No,
I agree.
No, I'm
I
with
agree.
you, but
You can afford to take a trip.
I
but
was
you can't
answering
afford
your
for everybody
first
to have a
question.
bed. Because
That's what my major problem was
Yes.
of them sharing a bed. You
sharing the
I agree.
bed.
sharing the bed.
We are not, because we need to make this clear. We are not saying that, this is an issue of gender identity, and because that's a whole
Exactly.
separate issue that people have about what bathrooms they should use and this and that. We're not getting into that.
Not at all.
Okay? That's not our point. Stop making kids share beds. I am saying that if a kid identifies whatever gender they identify with, it doesn't make sense to have them sleep with peers who are their biological gender because they're attracted to them.
I don't agree with that. I mean, I agree
And
with
something
that.
might pop off.
Oh, it's gonna pop.
It's gonna pop
goes
off.
the weasel.
So that's why they were like, we gotta put her in there with the girls.
But
'Cause she don't want
everyone
them.
needed to have their own beds. That's all we're saying.
Just-
Everyone needed to have their own individual beds. And if y'all
Cheap.
didn't have enough beds, then you should have went and got some
cots or
some
something.
cots, some sleeping bags or something
So was
like
there
that.
not a chaperone in the
Exactly.
room with them?
Exactly.
And a lot of hotels, they have the pull-out couch.
Mhm.
I don't know why, because it sounds like there wasn't a chaperone in the room.
And that's a bigger problem.
And her mother was a chaperone. If you chaperoning your kid on a field trip to D.C., where are you sleeping? Why wouldn't you say, okay, I need to be in the room. Why I'm in the room with all these, I don't know these heathens. I need to be in the room with my kid.
Absolutely.
So the whole thing is really kind of bizarre. And from a school's perspective, can you even imagine the school that you work at that we both graduated from? Can you even imagine them doing something like this?
No.
It's
Hell, they ain't gonna be able to go on a trip. There's no money.
they got no money for trips, okay?
no money.
We
for the
graduated
trip.
from a
Sorry.
broke school, and broke schools don't take trips.
Don't take trips.
But if a school go take a trip, get a bed for everybody.
Especially with all the just risk and everything else. Insurances.
Yes.
They
It
all
was
should
too
have
much.
been.
JP, that was a good one.
It's an unsettling, but it's the kind of thing that's going to be coming up in the news more and more.
Right.
And what I have noticed, and I kind of like the family bathrooms, but I like the family bathrooms because I am a father with a daughter, and I hate taking my baby into the men's restroom. You got to cover her eyes and lead her to a stall so she can, because it's men
you got
and
to clean it up.
urinals.
Yeah,
Yes,
stink in
men
there.
and urinals, and
Daddy,
that's all
what's that?
nasty. That's all nasty.
Because you know her. Daddy, what's that?
And I don't want no. There needs to be more family bathrooms, but the main benefit or reason maybe for the family bathrooms is so that people who are identifying
Exactly.
as a different gender,
They can feel
we don't have people
uncomfortable.
saying, because like this student, obviously, way before they went on a field trip, she's been using the girls' restroom. Nobody knew she was biologically male. So that same little girl has been using the same restroom with that kid, along with everybody else.
Hey, I was going to say, what about these? I went to a restaurant here in town recently where they just have bathrooms.
Oh, okay.
Like regular, like individual
There was
bathrooms.
no male or not a
individual
female. It was
bathrooms.
just
No,
a bathroom.
no male, no female.
like that
it
too.
was just individual bathrooms.
I have seen that in some restaurants, and you would think that it would be backed up because like only one person can go in there at a time, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
It worked. So maybe that's the direction that
Just
we
pick
need
the
to
one
go
that's empty
in.
and
Yeah, just like, but I think for some restaurants that are really busy, they're like, no, we need for 10 people to be able to use the restroom at the same time. But at least offer a restroom that is the family restroom where males and females can go in there. Parents can take their kids in there because mothers don't like taking their sons into the women's restroom.
Oh, I
because-
would.
But there are women who have complained about it
I don't care.
because some mothers are bringing like 10 and 11-year-olds up in there.
That's a little bit much. When they got that old, I would
they need
like
to be able to go
literally-
into the bathroom.
Listen, I would literally have the door open. Hey, what y'all doing in there?
But here's a reason
That's what.
for
That's
it.
what I would. That's what I did.
Here's a reason for it. When you think about the sex offender population, it is very scary sending your 10 or 11-year-old son
That's why I had the
Into a
bathroom door
men's-
open.
restroom.
Talk to me. Mama,
Yeah.
we okay? You embarrassing us. I don't care. Wash your hands and come on out
I need the
here.
freaks to know that I'm out here.
Exactly, because I
Yes.
will come up in there blazing.
That really is a good way to do it.
That's how I did it. Remember
Yeah.
I had 2 boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't want, because I can understand women who are like, look, that boy is almost in college. Why is he up in this?
Yeah. I think I stopped when they got about 8. When they got about 8, that's just
That
as
boy
bad
got
as,
a beard. Why is he in the women's restroom?
that's just as bad as the 7-year-old getting up in his mama's lap and popping her titty out. Can we say titty?
Ice-T's wife.
You already said it.
They babies
Yeah.
they babies in
That's
college.
fine.
They
Yeah,
still
they
breastfeed the
breastfeed.
baby. Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
No, the baby's not in
Oh.
college. Miss
But it
Lee.
was like
But it's an
about
old
10.
baby.
Yeah,
it's an old baby.
It's like 10 years
Yeah.
old.
Walker's
We
laughing.
discussed
He's like,
They, from what I read,
breast.
they're taking an approach
Mm-hmm.
of allowing their child to decide when to stop breastfeeding, and the problem is the child has never decided to stop. This kid is like playing football, coming in and grabbing a breast. Like,
He
mama,
thirst. He
mama,
thirsty.
I'm thirsty. They give a baby a slice
I'm
of cake.
sorry,
The
y'all.
baby won't milk with the cake.
Give
The
me
baby
some.
eating cake and breastfeeding in front of all the company. It's a situation up in the Ice-T household.
He need to have a young woman anyway.
oh
60
my
years old.
goodness. That's crazy.
Okay. And so, but
You done got off the subject again, JP. Did you
Right, but
take
it
your
was funny.
medicine today? Did you take your
I need to
medicine
take your
today?
medicine, 'cause you'll
Oh
take
my.
yours, D.
No.
I need some. But the bathroom thing, it is a bit of a situation, whether it is women taking their sons into the women's restroom, men like myself, I do not like taking my baby into the rest. And so we have a little portable potty in the car.
Really?
And so if I
It's in the bins
plus
too?
men's, yes, plus men, in both cars, plus men's restrooms are especially filthy and disgusting.
I don't think so.
Men's restrooms
Because
are
I remember
disgusting.
back in the day in the club, remember it
You
would
would go to the
never be a
restroom.
line for the men's restroom. And me and my girls, me
It's
and
pee
Kitty
everywhere,
went up in there using.
and
We
y'all
like,
came
"Oh."
out covered in pee.
We was like, oh, this is cleaner than our
You
bathroom.
came out covered in pee.
Because women are some nasty trifling heifers.
You have no idea. And so in the men's restroom, to put, when you go to put your child on the toilet, there's always pee. It's disgusting. It's easier to take her outside to the car, lift up the hatchback, pop out her little potty,
And let her go.
Let my baby pee outside because it's nasty. It's nasty.
Peeing outside, okay.
All right.
But it's not in the woods, so that's good.
Yeah. not in the woods. Not in the woods. But yes, in the back of the car. All right. Let's get to the question of the day. And then after the question of the day, I do have another mental health and illness in the news story, but I want
If
to
we
be
have time.
sure that we have time for it. All right, so let's talk about the gender wage gap. Everyone is aware that men make more money than women. Everyone is aware that white men make more money than black men and every woman and everybody on the planet. But let's take a look at the numbers. Okay. Now, in 1982, these numbers I'm about to present are the median hourly earnings of women in the U.S. by comparison to white men. White women earn 83% of what a white man earns. So if he earns 100,000, she gets 83,000. Black women, this is as of 2022. Black women earn 70%. So white women get 83%. I need you, because you work for somebody right now, so I need you to picture your staff, picture your co-workers. So black women are earning 70% of what a white male earns. Hispanic women are earning 65% of what a white male earns. Asian women went from 75% in 2002 to 93%. Asian women are almost earning the same rates of pay that white men earn. Isn't that something? Asian women are earning more than white women. White women get 83%, Asian women get 93%. So the gaps increase for women based upon locale. So if you're in a rural area, the gap is going to be bigger. Gaps widen with age. Okay, so from 35 to 44, your gap is going to get bigger. I went to this continuing education. I got these numbers, these stats from Dr. Lisa Street. She is a PhD professor at KU. And so she was providing all this information. Then she broke it down to social work. She's a doctorate level professor in the social work department. And so what she talked about is that even in predominantly female occupations, men still make more money, like nursing and social work. Now, let's take a look at this. Some of the explanations for this is 30% of the gap in income is attributed to education, work hours, age, metropolitan status, city, country, work history, region, race and ethnicity, occupation and industry. But 70% of this gap is totally unexplained. There's no explanation for why women are making so much less than men. So when you take a look at predominantly female professions, social work is 83% female and only 17% male. But when it comes to administration, it is 71% female and 29% male. Almost a third of the administrators in that predominantly female field are males, which means that when men choose to go into predominantly female occupations, they are promoted faster than women are. This is like insane. When you think about it, it's insane. And so, D, you're a social worker. Ms. V, you're an attorney, which is a predominantly male field, right? And so that's why I can't wait to get y'all's perspective on this. They were saying that male social workers are a numerical minority, but hold more positions of privilege within the profession. including management, academia, and policy making. We live in a society where if you
I'm
are
thinking
male,
about that because in my social work program, we had more male professors than we had women.
in a profession that's 83% female.
Wow.
So, and those male professors were making more money. So they were saying that these men, they accelerate faster, when they go into these fields. Now, let's break it down by education. In social work, as an example, a bachelor's level male social worker will make $39,000 as a median wage, and a female will make $36,000. A master's level social worker, which will include therapists, the male will make a median wage of $51,500, and the female will make $46,000. When it comes to professional degrees like doctorate degrees, those professors, the male professor's median income is $72,000, and the female professor's median income is $55,000. It must be hard to go to work in a predominantly female field. You sitting with all your coworkers, most of which are female, and you know that the few men in the room make more money than you. See, that would be hard, because I'm empathizing, and I'm imagining if the tables were turned. If I was in that position, that would be hard to stomach, because y'all doing the same work. When you think back to when we were at the mental health center, I was doing the same therapy that the female therapists were doing. And so how absurd it would be for me to be making so much more than them.
But for that, JP, I do have to tell you that you were the bomb, diggity. So I could see you making more money than the other ones did, because you build as much as two of them put together.
I did have really high stats.
Mm-hmm.
But that comes, here's the thing. If you are promoting based upon productivity, I can handle that. I can stomach that. If you're giving raises, because I always got the highest percentage of raise that was possible because of my stats. And so if I ended up making more than a female therapist who was hired at the same time as me and is based upon productivity, well, then I'm cool with that. I'm not cool with me just getting more money just because I'm a man and she a woman. And I'm not cool with the white male therapist getting more money than me. That's a problem.
It is. It makes me think about often what I do a lot in our career club. We talk a lot about careers and all that, but we also talk to our students about being able to have confidence and negotiating salaries and going in.
I always negotiate.
Absolutely, because that's a big piece. We go in, and depending on what we think we're worth and all of that, it shows when we walk in. So if we look desperate for a job or for a promotion, then often people can smell that, and they're going to give you less because they know that you don't think you're worth more.
Because they're trying to save money.
Absolutely. But when we go in, and it's like, seriously, if you want me, I need this and I need all these things. The fact that you came in with the plan of what you need and why, and that's a big piece of that negotiation. And often men do that. Often with women, we just want to be often compassionate and emotional, just so happy to be here, and
that was
want to
nice
do a great
turn
job.
on
And
that,
and so it's sometimes it's men are about being providers and producers and blah blah blah.
So we have
so you
to
come
ask
in
for
looking
more money.
strong
Yeah.
and even in these other positions, management, academia, and policy, men are often expected to be leaders in that. So when you walk into a room, oh, there's a man here. Okay, y'all, we're going to interview for this. And even in the interviews, they will say to a man, if you get the job, we hope that you'll think about, climbing the ladder.
Oh, yeah.
They don't say it to us.
Right.
But it's
And there, two things that you just touched on that are so true. One, with men, employers value men more than women because when they look at women, they think about, okay, she may want to start a family. She's going to be taken off for maternity leave
We
every
discussed
time
this
she
last
gets
week. We
pregnant.
hit on that last
We
week.
talked about that. So that's one thing. Another reason why men are making higher salaries is because, as you said, they look at men as being head of households and almost look at women in as if they're on a lower level. Well, she's a woman.
I'm
she's
head of
not
the
the head
household.
of the household, and so she doesn't need as much.
Weren't you the
money.
head of the household, Miss B?
I'm a head of household,
Head of
but they don't
household.
Which
see
means
us
you
that
need
way.
your money.
I need my
Absolutely.
money.
Absolutely.
I need my munchies.
When it comes to negotiating salaries, I had to learn that lesson the hard way because when I graduated from K-State, I had never been taught how to negotiate pay. I showed up and accepted what them fools offered me at Crittenton Center. And after I started working, I found out I had a bachelor's degree. I found out that one of my coworkers working on a unit with me who had a GED, she was making like $3 more an hour than me.
And I'm not laughing. You're like, wait a minute.
$3 more an hour.
That was a
And
whole lot in the early 90s.
let me tell you, and guess how much these fools paid me?
$8.75 an hour.
$8 an hour.
You got to
That
remember
was
minimum
with
wage
my
was
nighttime
$3.35.
differential.
You got to remember minimum wage was only $3.35. So you was really winning. You was like
With a bachelor's degree in a
$8
mental health treatment
and
center.
nighttime differential. You
I
was
had
fighting
to
every
work
night.
the nighttime differential to get that much because my actual base pay was like the late $6
$7.85.
and something, 7 something, and then the nighttime differential was another $1.30 an hour. But because I did not negotiate my wage, and it was not until that Children's Treatment Center was bought out by St. Luke's, when St. Luke's came in, they took a look and said, we got to do something about these salaries. So they bumped me up to $10 an hour with a bachelor's degree.
We was in the 90s. You was making good money.
That was pathetic because I didn't know that I could have went to Johnson County Mental Health with my bachelor's degree. And
they
even
wouldn't have hired you.
D, why would I shouldn't ask this?
At that
Why
time,
would they have
At
hired
that
me?
time,
D?
they wouldn't have hired you.
I was too brown to be up in Johnson County Mental Health because they pay well.
They paid well.
So
and,
Gerald,
and this is another. Oh, go ahead, please.
so Gerald, so now I heard your
Talking
statement
to the
about-
mic.
Maybe I don't have it up high enough. Ooh, that's too high.
Just talking to the mic.
Now, Gerald, so I heard you make a statement that they were talking about how the view of a woman different from a man, but then if it's a black woman and she's coming in with a strong personality, that could be a turnoff. Yeah, and even with a black male.
Well,
Two, that could determine whether you're going to get a job
she
or your
something-
salary.
would she get more pay or less for being a
You might
strong
not get a
black-
job. You might not have to worry about the salary.
The fear of the black woman.
But that goes back into we
The
have to make
rah-rah.
sure that we're teaching the crossover.
Angry black
You
woman.
have to.
Exactly.
Right. Now, there is a whole nother side to this. And y'all tell me what you think about this. When it basically white men make more money, period. White men make more money than everyone else, including black men. Let's take a look at a predominantly female profession like the mental health field. There is the argument that, okay, if you have a mental health center and 90% of your therapists are female and you have a shortage of male therapists and you have a shortage of black male therapists, because we worked at an inner city community mental health center and the majority of the client population was African American.
Now it's Hispanic.
And there was only, yes, because the black folks, they left. And black folks rolled out. And there was only 2 black male therapists. And I had a caseload of 83 clients. And at least 50% of
I'm
my
trying to remember
clients
who was the other one.
were Wells Todd. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
And he ended up leaving.
Briefly.
So it was
I think
just
we
me.
were like changing each other when he was coming in. I was
Right.
coming in when he was going out.
He rolled out. It was just me.
Mhm.
And so I had a caseload of 83 clients. At least 50% of my clients were African American. So the other argument is there is such a shortage of black male therapists that we have to offer them more money to get them. Now, here is something that at the time I possibly perpetuated some of this because I knew that. And I was still mad about what Crittenton had did to me. And so and somebody was going to pay for me working for 4 years and going from $8 to $10.31 an hour. Somebody was going to pay. I do recall approaching the interview from the perspective of this is an inner city community mental health center and y'all don't have no black male therapists up in this joint. You better show me the money. Which would put them in
That's
a position.
what I said too.
Which would put them in a position of saying,
Okay.
we have all these applicants that are white female, and we got him. And we done trained him during his whole practicum, so he already know how to do the job. I could see that putting them in a position where they may have felt like they needed to pay me more. Now, they didn't. Because I know a white female, we discussed our salary, something you ain't supposed to do.
Not supposed to
we
do.
Immediately
But people
did.
do it.
I didn't discuss mine because I already knew I was making more than everybody else.
They offered me $21 more a year than her. And she had to go back and negotiate hers. But here's the thing. She had a substance abuse certification. So really, she had an additional certification than me. And I still got $21 more a year than her. I didn't have the substance abuse certification.
But what did you have? You had
I was
lots
black and
of
male.
experience, and you had lots of experience, and you can impact your bottom line by really helping the recovery to happen.
And
for
But at
people.
this time, I didn't
people
have.
come back,
At
come
Absolutely.
this
back,
time,
come
I didn't
back.
have experience. This was right after graduation.
You had
you had
experience.
experience
You
from
did your
other
practicum
places.
there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and you did your practice.
but she had been a substance abuse counselor for years. She was older than me.
But was she as effective at getting the African American population
Well, she
to
was
not
white.
relapse?
Right.
I
And she was-
understand.
yeah.
See what I'm saying?
And so they probably gave me the $21.
$21. I filled up your car
Mm-hmm.
in
Because
2000.
I got $30,521 a year.
You remember that
And
salary,
she got,
don't you?
I remember down to the dollar, $30,521. Because I swore I would never work for that much again. I couldn't pay my student loans with that much. I was working 7 days a week. I had to immediately start my private practice right after graduation because I couldn't make my student loan payments. So she got $30,500, but really she should have been saying, you got $21 more than me, and I have a whole additional certification. And they hired her to develop an entire substance abuse program.
Ooh, they was wrong for that.
So really, she got screwed over. And even though their perspective would be, you only got $21 more than her. Yeah, but you didn't pay her for her additional substance abuse certification. You did not pay her for you hiring her to develop a whole substance abuse program.
Did she have
Because
your
she was there
caseload?
before Sharon got there.
Did she have your
Sharon was the
caseload?
other substance abuse, but Sharon came after her. She had developed the program before Sharon got there.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What'd you say, Ms. V?
But did she have your... See, because sometimes I think that the credentials don't really mean everything if the people don't know how to use their credentials.
Mm-hmm.
The professor told us last night in class that you can have tons of research and you can say you know how to do all these things, you know, the technical book stuff, but if you don't have a body of work, really where you can
that's
really
good.
show the body of work. You can have all these degrees, but if you can't do their deep application to make sure that the bottom line of your employer is going to turn around and people come, then employers, they're looking at that. So
Okay.
Because
I think you
they
had
knew you
more.
was gonna work and not only be there and get clients, but they were gonna keep coming. Cause how often did you have
no shows. And
no
all that.
shows? You didn't have to be no shows.
Let me tell you, Miss V. I started therapy at 10 in the morning and scheduled every hour on the hour until 8 at night, even during
You were a
lunch.
productivity master. Think
I
about that.
was 2 therapists up in that joint.
And that's why you got.
But he
you see
only
what I'm
worked
saying?
4
There's-
And
days.
it closed at 8.
He had
I
a
was
key.
still there after 8. I was there. The cleaning crew would come in to clean the building after everybody left. I would be still in the building after they left. I was literally locking up the building and setting the alarm, leaving at 10:30 and 11 o'clock at night.
So therefore,
But he only
that's
worked
why
4
you got
days.
more.
He only worked 4 days.
But that's why you think about.
I did 4.
Yeah.
I did 4.
Four
What was supposed to be
tens.
4 tens, but my 4 tens was for 12 and a
12s.
half 13-hour days. And the reason why I switched to the 4
Overachiever.
tens is because the other 3 days a week I had to do private practice because they was only paying me $30,521.
and then on Friday night and Saturday night and Thursday night we
watching
kicked
the
it.
I was watching the D and the
Watching
Thicky
the
Thick
D.
contest.
Can you believe we used to do that? And then
Yeah,
get
we
up
used
and
to
go to
kick
work?
Showed up, got up and went to work. Worked 7
Y'all
days a
fun.
week. And so there's 2 sides to
Wrap it
this. Yeah, there's 2 sides to this, that you have the gender bias of white males in general making more. And then you have certain situations where a profession is desperate for a minority professional. And so there's the pressure to pay them more money. And so I think that there may be room for both. It is possibly legitimate if you only have a tiny amount of candidates. And these, like in my case, they knew if I was going to be able to find a job, I had other options. And so, yeah, it creates a situation where you kind of have to pay a little bit more, not because of gender bias, but out of desperation.
Yes.
All right, that is our show for today. Thank you all for joining us.
Amen.
And
That
thank
was
you,
good.
Miss V,
That
for
was
joining
fun.
us.
Yes, we really enjoy you, Miss V.
And next week, we're going to talk about my book.
Yay!
And Miss V, you're gonna join us to talk
I
about
am.
the book.
I have my copy and I've
All
been
right.
reading it. It's really good.
Thank
I'm
you.
there.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. And remember, worry about nothing.
And pray about everything, because prayer is what matters.
Thank you. And God bless.
Amen. Bye-bye now.
Oh, that was good. That was good. I'm running to my 8 o'clock.